You're still watching Fut-Afrique, where we're having all conversations around football on the African continent. Let's now turn our attention to the CAF Champions League. Now, if you don't win the AFL, you definitely want to win the CAF Champions League. If you miss out there, then you want to win the CAF Confederations Cup. When it comes to the CAF Champions League, it's really cagey, should I put it that way.
Yeah.
We have 5 former champions, and we have 2 teams that are coming from Tanzania, Brian.
Yep.
Just when you look at that component and that how they've assembled themselves, what do you make of that?
You know what I love? The fact that we have those 2 teams coming from Tanzania. These are the true rivalry. They have massive rivalry in Tanzania. They're always fighting for who's better. So now they've got a chance to prove their worth.
Yeah.
I mean, Simba SC qualified for the next round by walloping Jwaneng 6-0.
Yeah.
They send a stand warning to everybody, pretending to the crowd to say, you know what? We might have not been seen as a team that's going to come through, but while doing that, they therefore eliminated Wydad.
Yeah.
Which is a big story, because Wydad have been, in the last 4 years, have been to the final 3 times. You know, for them to miss out and not be in the final.
Heartbreaking.
And also miss out in a way they did, because we expect them to go and play against ASEC to win, because they're playing at home. Even though they won their game, they needed Jwaneng to do them a Galaxy, to do them a huge favor, and Jwaneng couldn't do them a favor.
Yeah. Jwaneng Galaxy, I know that they're out, but just how was they run within this competition? If you were to sum it up, we have been talking about football in Botswana rising.
Yeah.
6-0, don't look at that result, but let's just look at the entire performance.
I think they'll be proud of their performance overall,
Yeah.
because I mean, they also did cause a few upsets on the road,
Yeah.
you know, before eventually be knocked out. And I think if they can keep the squad they have, and probably start believing more and investing more money in them, you could see them rising to the next level of this competition.
Esperance de Tunis went up against Al Hilal. That was a very cagey game, nail-biting, should I say. Espérance de Tunis were able to do it. Many people were really skeptical as to how it will play out, but just how important was that victory for them?
Remember, when we did the show last week, we mentioned the fact that there were 2 spaces available.
Yes.
2 slots.
And there were 5.
And 5 teams fighting for those.
Yeah.
So Group B, we had 3 teams fighting for that one spot. This one here, we knew that a game between Espérance de Tunis up against Al Hilal is a final on its own. But how they did it, they had to fight very hard. I mean, they scored a goal in the 22nd minute.
Yeah.
For them to hold on and have to
Close shop.
literally defend every attack after attack of Al Hilal was a huge thing for them. And the fact that they qualified and have gone through to the next stage, I mean, they've won it 4 times this competition. So it was going to be a huge thing for them if they were knocked out very early. So good for them to be there. And I think Al Hilal will know they could have won the game themselves, could have done themselves a favor, unable to do so. Esperance took the chance and they scored a goal early, and that's what you do need to do.
Defending champions, Al Ahly are also always a team that start really slowly and then they start picking up. Do you believe that in this round, we will see Al Ahly coming out of their shells and them showing their pure dominance on the African continent?
If you look at 2 teams managed to get, one team got 13 points, that is Sundowns, all right?
Which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah, then you got 2 teams that got 12 points. It's Petro de Luanda, yet to win the competition, but always thereabout.
Angola.
But they've done it differently, they've won the group. Usually they come in a second team in their grouping. Al Ahly, when they played their last game, everybody thought maybe they'll play against Yanga, they'll get there and not play the same way, but Al Ahly went and said, you know what, we mean business.
Yeah.
It's a different approach they've had in this competition this year. And they went on to win their game, to therefore win their group, and therefore meaning they also get seeded. That's a big one for me. I think they're sending warnings to everybody else. And also one of the...
I feel like everyone in this group is sending warnings though.
But also pretender to the crown is always Wydad. You know, when Wydad is there, you always know it's going to be cagey. But now, the fact that Al Ahly were able to get and win the AFL, they have a bone to pick. Sundowns are sitting and saying, we're not just AFL champions, we're going to be the champions of the Champions League also.
Yeah, Mamelodi Sundowns then beat TP Mazembe.
Oh, that was a good game.
1-0. 1-0, Peter Shalulile coming through.
15th goal for Peter Shalulile joins Temba Zwane. They've scored now same number of goals in the Champions League. It's a big one, I've got to say, from that point of view.
I want you to say it all, but I want Alilani to have some, so let's share, right?
Yeah.
Let's get a report from Alilani, who has also been watching all the action very closely as all matters pertain the CAF Champions League.
Itu and Brian, the CAF Champions League quarterfinals is about to be lit. We have 5 former champions who will be participating in the last 8. And let me tell you, the current champions, our Ahly, they have 7 strong contenders to worry about. The 11-time champions in this competition remain on course to defend their title after a slim 1-0 home victory over Young Africans last week Friday. to finish top of Group D with 12 points. Also look out for Espérance of Tunisia, who have won 4 titles, and Sundowns, who secured Group A's top spot with 13 points after defeating Congolese side TP Mazembe, who also advanced after finishing second with 10 points. This was sweet revenge after the Congolese side defeated the Brazilians 1-0 in Lubumbashi in December. After winning 6 consecutive PSL titles, Rulani Mokwena's side are one of the heavy favorites to win this competition for me. There are 2 dangerous sides coming from Group B that should not be ignored. Ivorian side ASAC Mimosa topped Group B with 11 points. Forget their away loss to former champions Wydad Casablanca. The big shock for me was Wydad, last year's runners-up, failing to make the last 8. Could you believe it? Wydad knocked out Sundowns in the semi-final round last year. The other dangerous side that came from Group B is Simba, who destroyed Jwaneng Galaxy 6-0. Simba is one of the 3 teams still in the competition who are yet to taste continental success. Another team who hasn't won the competition yet but has impressed me so much is Petro de Luanda of Angola, who finished in their group on 12 points after beating Etoile du Sahel. I'm looking forward to the draw in Egypt, where 4 seeded sides would know the 4 unseeded sides they will be facing. This is just such a beautiful advert for African football.